why don't you first introduce yourself? Who
Okay.
are you, where you're from, and what got you here?
Okay. I am Brent Downs. I'm the Director of Agronomy for Otter Creek and Harrison Lake in Columbus, Indiana. I've actually come to the show now for several years, but I come a little bit differently now that I'm also partly an instructor. But I also come to support my team and push their growth, their experience, their learning. And not only that, for me, it's a chance to catch up with friends I've made over the years. And now, I'd like to think I've made a lot of them. So I enjoy this every year just as a chance to catch up, reconnect. I love the education, but these days it's more about the relationships.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you've been here several times. So how you seen it's been evolving
Yep.
based on your experience and what it means to you?
Well, it continues to grow and get bigger, but I tell you one thing that has changed, like on the education side, is you go back 10 years, and I want to say that was my first show. It started off, I think 80% of the classes were probably agronomic, 85. Now you're seeing a lot more leadership classes, communication, what I would call soft skills, how to build culture. And especially in my current role, oddly enough, for having the title Director of Agronomy, I would say that is 5% of what I do. And the other 95% is working with team members, building support, uh, communicating to membership, things like that, or understanding technology. And that is a huge part of what we do as well. And I think that's how maybe the show has evolved, is not only on the education side, but then educating for the technology side. And obviously, a lot of the show floor, if I were to say how it's evolved, besides the fact somehow it continues to get bigger. And I thought it filled up the room 10 years ago, but now
Yeah,
it's even more. But you're seeing a lot more tech forward products
yeah.
now. I mean, even if it's older tech like mowers, but done in a different way.
Do you see the same development in the industry now that the leadership, communication skills, all of that has been improving simultaneously when it's been growing at the show?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
good.
100%. E- if you heard the word culture 10 years ago, you knew it was a thing, but it did sound like a buzzword. Now and I'm not going to tell you it still doesn't sound like
Mhm.
a buzzword, but it's a lot more real and it's a lot more intentional. And that I do believe, even if you call it something different, you just want to be a good place to work. You have high standards, but it's by having a good workplace that those high standards become much more achievable, in my opinion.
Exactly. How would you describe what is the culture at the Otter Creek and Harrison Lake? What how you describe it?
Well, we're not perfect. I mean, but it's very good. It's because of where a lot of us came from, the different golf courses we've worked at. It is certainly a high standard, but we like to have a good time. We're all very close. You know, we maybe don't get out away and do as much together as we'd like to, but I think the culture is very growth focused, but also, stop and enjoy. And that's something I myself have struggled with for a long time, that I made sure in this renovation, the Harrison side, they have hit their stride and they have begun to push. Like the club has made exponential strides out of their growing in the last year and a half. But Otter, while we're in the reno, yeah, it's a lot of work. Sometimes it feels like a lot of hurry up and wait. But as we hit certain checkpoints, I try and get the team together and I'm like, take a look. You remember what this looked like a month ago. And I mean, just enjoy the journey because we're only going to get to do it once.
That's great. So you are one of the founding members in the Soil Scout Grandmasters Program.
Yes.
Uh, how would you describe what being a Grandmaster means to you?
Well, first off, I was shocked, humbled, honored, kind of all three at the same time, just to be thought of in that way. But I think what it means to me is not only it says that there's a standard we believe in and that we try and produce the best surfaces, but also in the most efficient way we can, because that's our goal, is to be trying to think how I want to word this. Well, it's one of those things where just efficient in a way that allows us to produce those conditions and still be a financially sustainable business. At the end of the day, and I'm going to restate that answer again like this, is I think for us, the way we would recognize that is to be as efficient as possible, produce that high standard, but also in the third leg, produce it in a way that is financially viable. And I think as more golf courses, we've experienced the COVID boom, and that, at some point that plateau is going to start to work down a little bit. And I think for us, that's what it means to us. And by proxy, that's what it means to me. I mean, I was beyond honored to be selected, but I think if there's a reason I feel I was picked, it is because of the way I view that is, using all the tools at our disposal, be it data, be it technology, and just be it good old fashioned standards and pride,
Yeah.
is to put that all together into a package and you see it come out on the golf course.
Where you would see are the main gaps when talking about efficiency at the golf courses?
Ooh. Um, I really think having to recheck things that technology could help you with. Like when I was an intern, we used to check greens in the morning, check them in the afternoon, then maybe check them even one more time just before we went home. I think if you can use technology or something to eliminate the rechecks that you can look at something and know that it's good. I think that allows you to focus more on doing and less on checking and verifying, even though quality control is a critical part of the job. But wouldn't it be nice if there's a quick way you can look in and go, okay, the quality's there, on to the next thing? That's where I think the biggest inefficiency lies. And the other one being having to use a lot of people for something that is repetitive, rote, and very monotonous. And that's where I feel the autonomous mowers could come into play or other technology is being able to take care of something that is very routine and very, I mean, all jobs are difficult in their own way, but that is one that is fairly routine. I would love to be able to use my talent in another area, something that does require thought and, you know, um, not only thought, but just reasoning.
Yeah,
And that's something often that, technology would struggle with.
great. Ville, do you have anything in your mind? I don't want to take the whole show.
I enjoyed listening to that, that's for sure. What do you think for you are the key parts of your operations, daily operations, that allows you to be as efficient as possible? If you have, might be a job board, might be
Yeah.
anything. But what are those kind of key aspects that you look at? Without this, my daily life
Yeah.
is coming down crashing.
Well, I'm going to go two different places. First, I'll get to the physical, the actual tools in a second. But the first place that starts is it's a shared mentality. We're a smaller team, and that's the way every one of us would rather have it. Because like I said, I would rather spread the resources amount around a group that has been together a long time and that we all trust each other. And we have that there. And we still need to add some team members and build onto it. But our core group, we've been together for a while now. And I really think having that mentality, because without that mentality, I don't think the technology is nearly as effective because the people who come in aren't going to know right away how we use it. Now, as far as the actual technology we use, we have robot mowers, we do have the Maya job board, our Soil Scout sensors, and even say our USGA GS3 and moisture meter. I think all those come together back to what I said before about the rechecks is we have ways we can check in on the golf course from not the area we're checking in on. And I think because of that, we do not use nearly as much time traveling here, traveling to this green, make sure this green's okay. No, I've got the info right in front of me that says it's fine. So can be more direct in our routing. And believe it or not, I think daily golf course maintenance is a sum of small gains. If you can save 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes on this, you would be amazed. Add that up over a week, a month, a year, and see how much time that gave you actually doing, actually managing, actually coaching. I mean, it's not just actively doing a job. Imagine if you bring in new team members, you can spend another hour with them and onboarding, they're just going to get up to speed that much quicker.
We are very fortunate at Soil Scout to obviously have all these great golf courses around the world as our customers, and also get to visit them, get to learn about their practices and also their headaches. However, then whenever we are talking about a tropical jungle course somewhere in Southeast Asia or an Arctic golf course in Finland, Sweden, Mediterranean countries, and have all that here in the US, it seems that the main issues every golf course have seem to be very universal, talking about team communication, efficiency, growth tracking, inventory management. Uh, what solutions you currently use and have to solve these issues, and how you let's say work closely with your team and enable the best communication practices possible?
I would say by, again, using all the methodology, and I feel the same way, not only with communication with the team, but communication with our membership is some prefer the newsletter. Some grew up in the era before or two eras before. They still take a newspaper subscription. They are going to respond to the newsletters. Some, like the younger members, they tend to respond to video sound bites. In a lot of ways, the way we communicate with them is the same way we communicate as a team. And I would say that is, we have a group text. We have the ability to take quick videos on our phone. If, it's amazing if somebody's doing an irrigation repair and they can't figure it out, the first thing they will do is they'll take a quick video, send it to Mitch and myself in a group chat, and 50% or more of the time we can diagnose it from the video.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's using all the methodologies. It's texting. Sometimes, occasionally I'll leave a written list on Mitch's desk. It's Canva. It's, any of the Microsoft products to build like our systems, our SOPs, anything like that. So I'm not sure there's a medium that we don't use. And I think in that way, that does make us unique, or at least maybe very forward thinking, is look at every tool and see how it brings value to our operation.
Talking about Soil Scout Grandmaster Program, what are your expectations within the program where we can support the whole industry and kind of acting the best?
Honestly, for me, I think it's just learning opportunities. I know there is the Live Golf event coming up at Rodney's place in Singapore. I would say even for those of us who may or may not be able to make that, I think that is the right idea. For myself, getting selected for the Bernhard delegation a year ago opened up my perspective in that there is a lot more I can learn worldwide. I had been looking mainly in my Indiana or maybe in my Midwest bubble for my learning. And now I realize that when other golf courses are accomplishing things on smaller teams and stuff like that, what am I missing on efficiency? It's just opened up my worldview. Hey, if I want to learn more about drainage, find a golf course in the world that's taking, in US values, 120 inches of rain a year, because I guarantee they know how to drain it. I think that's something Soil Scout, by the four of us, even though two of us are actually relatively close in the Midwest, as members are added onto this program, it just opens up our connection opportunities. And it also allows us to share some experiences. That's what I'm also looking forward to. Just because Yanni is in Finland doesn't mean he and I don't share some, crossways at Loch Lomond and some similar experiences, because we get cold too. We may not sustain it for as long, but that was very enjoyable, getting to know him and being like, oh, and I thought we were the only ones that dealt with that. So no, there's more points for connection, and to me, more opportunities to, this is how I was taught to take care of this problem, but now it's opened up my worldview. Maybe there are better ways that I just haven't opened up my eyes to.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
Do you work closely with other peers and benchmark yourself maybe within their operations and how they manage their courses?
I think all of us on some level look over the fence from time to time and see what the others are doing. But I look at it more, not, believe it or not, I'm a competitive person, but I don't look at that competitively, because I will, within reason, always open up different things we're doing if I think it helps somebody else. And in the same way, I'll look at other operations. Truthfully, that's the funny thing. In my role, I don't look at the golf courses, even though because Mitch is so good at that, I have the opportunity to look at their operations because that's what I'm more responsible for. What tech are they using? Are they getting full value out of it? How do they build their culture? And again, back to the delegation, that was seeing one of the cultures, or actually, honestly, seeing at those places, the cultures they had gave me ideas. Okay, I had never thought about doing that. And I think that's really what it gives me the opportunity to do is I do benchmark, but I almost benchmark more on operational efficiency and employee
Yep.
engagement. Those are honestly
Exactly.
these days as many of the benchmarks as I do their golf course, because I feel for us, we're always going to push our conditions, I think, to the point our budget allows. But are we, if we push our operation to its highest point, you're actually going to see those same conditions delivered a lot more efficiently.
And how many people you have in your staff at the moment?
Okay, right now, each golf course, because we're in the winter season, I want to say Otter Creek has 6 and Harrison Lake has 6 as well. But you will see those numbers with Otter Creek in renovation. That number will go to 12 to 15 next year. And we are looking for a couple more full time. The Harrison Lake team, they'll go to about 12, 13 as well. And honestly, probably 14 is more the ideal
Yeah.
number. But my long term goal, I've talked about just being as efficient as any place in our region really is. I would love to see a day where that number comes down to 8 or 10 highly trained. Maybe I'll stop there. I don't really want to put a number to it, but I know what my ultimate end goal is I think by setting a number, I put myself in a box, but however lean we can efficiently operate at, but those folks that we have, they are very committed, very dedicated, and very loyal. And honestly, if we can build that, then I will consider that a success. And we've already been successful and enjoyed our successes. But I think that's what they call it a big, hairy, audacious goal. That's what ours is to utilize all the technology that is out there in a way that works best for us.
So we are talking about increasing the level of expertise and knowledge within your team,
Yep.
constantly giving them opportunity to develop their skills.
Yeah. Well, not only level up their skills, but also give them ownership in the operation. And sometimes I feel like if your main function is mowing rough, and it's a very important job, but sometimes it limits your connection to the operation by repeatedly doing the same job. And like I said, what I hope is I don't mind having specialists, but what I hope is we have a group of people who are committed to taking a piece of the operation and making it theirs, whatever that may be it a tech aspect, be it a quality aspect, or like I said, taking a look at the operation of the whole, saying, we mow greens great. How do we mow them even better?
Essential part of the Grandmaster program is acting as a mentor for other guys in the industry. So what would you describe what they can get from you and what you're able to help them with? What they can get from you?
Yeah, they can hear about all the times I failed because there are many, but those were my greatest learning
Yeah.
moments is both with my own mentor and all the failures I had, but it was him, correcting me, but correcting me in a way that pushed me forward, not held me back. And I feel the same way with what I can pass on to others is I guarantee everything I feel we do well is based on a mistake we made and learned from, because you don't walk into the industry day one with it all figured out. So at some point you fell on your face and you had to pick back up. And I really honestly believe that's the thing I can share is if somebody were to ask me something, I'm like, yeah, let me tell you about the time I tried something and it exploded and it went bad, but you know what? I'm still here. And, we fixed it, learned from it, and we moved on. And I really think that's maybe the best thing a mentor can do is, they were, you know, boots on the ground with you at some point and they made the mistakes and, they came through it fine. And honestly, for a mentee, I think that gives them the confidence to know that they can do the same thing, that failure is just a part of the process. And every time you do, those are going to be your highest learning moments. I think as a mentor, the other thing they could give from me, I hope, is encouragement that we've all been through very tough times, and not just failures, but tough life moments, things like that. And that it's all right to not be yourself for a while. I mean, I think the greatest growth I had in my personal life also came from my greatest failure. And I think as we become mentors, it isn't just teaching. Sometimes it's just, hey, give me a call and let's shoot the breeze about whatever. It's, with the people I coach now, it's, hey, even if I don't have anything specific, just know that I'm still here. Let's go out and grab a coffee, grab a drink, whatever that means. And I hope for mentors anywhere, that's how they feel, is it's not all coaching. Sometimes it's just being a friend.
How would you think, you used now our sensors for a little while, if there's something that you experienced that they were great, but even
Yep.
more, where can we improve? How can we deliver the data to you even better?
Vil, I have one area, but otherwise, and I want to say this up front, whether or not, however much of this you choose to use, and, when Stephen Nixon with Bernhard first approached me about, hey, would you be interested in Soil Scout? You could have heard the eye roll in my head from, I'm like, the last thing I need is soil sensors. I'm like, because I had had poor experiences with the previous generation of them in the past, and managing them actually became more of a hassle. These have been beyond phenomenal, just not only in their data, but I think a great product is essential, but it means nothing without a great support team behind it. Vil, there have been times you have caught a sensor acting up before even we did, and we're the ones who check it every day. And I think not just the product, but the support. And I feel the same way about Val and Maya. A great product is where it starts, but great service is why I come back. Now, if I were to mention one improvement, it actually is on, say, the engineering side. Just at some point, I do worry that the oxygen sensors will, get water in them or clog up from time to time. And I know that's something y'all are working on anyway. And I think that's such a critical part of what differentiates you all. Just if there's anything you all feel you need to do just to improve that reliability. And honestly, we've only had one incident, but if you're asking for an improvement, I have to go to the only one thing we've had because I can't suggest one anywhere else.
we accept it.
Yeah.
We fully get it.
I mean, when you have a 99% success rate, then the only thing I can mention is the 1%.
That's very true. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you very much, Brent.
Yeah.
First of all, we are very happy to have you on board with the program.
Yep.
Thanks for the discussion.
Yep.
Looking forward all the other discussions during this week. And yeah, let's make this happen.
Yeah, no, I'm beyond honored and humbled, but I'm also excited to continue to help out you and anybody who's invested in us. I feel that's our, in some ways, responsibility, but one we take very gratefully, is to be able to give back to both you and other companies in that umbrella of, you've invested in us with technology and resources. So our goal is to give that back to you in allowing your product to push us to a level we didn't think we could go to.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.